A typical tactic of wolves is to attack ungulates, cause them to panic, then select the weakest individuals from the herd, separate them from the rest, and drive them away. So wolves can attack a creature several times larger than themselves. For example, a moose. Here the wolf chased the moose for a long time, until the ungulate wandered into shallow water, as the wolf might have thought, in despair and from impotence. Wolves chase prey for miles, many kilometers, according to the most difficult terrain. They have incredible endurance. Their goal is to wait until the forces leave the prey, then pounce on it with all their weight. Get their fangs to the throat. The wolf decided that the moment had come for a decisive attack, because the moose had stopped, so he was pretty tired. But the predator made a serious mistake. The moose did not run out of strength. He was just tired of this racing game. In addition, the wolf underestimated the moose's ability to plan its actions. It wasn't a predator that lured the moose into a remote corner. It was the moose that lured the wolf into the water. The ungulate attacked decisively and suddenly. The stunning attack took the wolf by surprise, and the mighty hooves almost cracked the predator's skull. The wolf dodged at the very last moment, but probably swallowed a lot of water, because he almost drowned. The wolf surfaced, but the shock of this development does not allow the beast to understand what is happening. He should have run blindly from the angry ungulate weighing more than half a ton. But the wolf still hopes for a win, in vain. The moose attacks again and again, moves and spins with lightning speed, does not allow itself to be bypassed and grabbed by the throat. This beast is not only massive, but also very tall. With each step, he goes further into the depths, but still firmly rests his feet on the bottom. And his head rises above the water. This cannot be said about the wolf. Just now, he was running in shallow water, but being carried away by the battle, he found himself in deep water and swam. Without support, his movements have become less abrupt. The wolf can no longer bounce back from the blow so quickly. He has to spend his strength to stay on the water while the moose stands calmly, and when he wants, goes on the attack. The wolf managed to escape. He was lucky, and the moose did not want to finish off the enemy. But in the future, the predator will not attack such powerful and intelligent herbivores, at least without the support of at least 5 or 6 seasoned wolves. This mighty huge deer was messing with the wrong opponent when he challenged the leader of the herd. The ambitions of a young ungulate can be misunderstood, because the leader receives the most attention from females. But the leader they tried to oust turned out to be too strong. Just look at this impressive fight. Before the clash, the deer tilted their heads for a moment, as if chivalrously saluting their opponents before a duel, or warning about an attack so that the competition would be fair. Pretty noble, isn't it? But all the same, the fight turned out to be brutal, because the deer collided with branched horns from acceleration, and the leader beat the challenger badly. He pushed the less experienced fighter, forced him to back away and tilt his head so low to the water that it seemed as if the young beast would drown. Dogs have taken the role of shepherds too seriously. Dealing with a wolf is one thing, but surviving an attack by a ram that needs to be protected is another thing. The ram goes to ram again and again and does not allow itself to be intimidated whatsoever. Huge dogs belong to herding breeds, so they have strength and a powerful bite. But you can't harm the owner's flock. All that remains is to grin, bark, and drive through the way the ram. But it does not work out. Even against such terrible and formidable opponents, the hoofed animal does not show a fraction of fear, and the dogs did not expect such insolence. In order not to get hit in the face, they have to be constantly on guard. But this is their ward, and you can't fight with them. But the ram does not care about the rules. He fearlessly goes into battle. In addition to the rivalry between representatives of one species for leadership in a herd or family, interspecific conflicts also occur when one herbivore attacks another. Sometimes for no reason. And the most aggressive such a fan of fighting is a zebra. They often use battering rams, bite, and kick their opponents. And in general, it seems that this striped horse has some kind of inferiority complex, which it takes out on other herbivores. For example, here a zebra attacked an adult giraffe for some reason. The huge ungulate is the tallest animal in the world and can look through a third-floor window. At the same time, the beast is far from the most massive and weighs less than 2 tons, that is, even less than hippopotamus or a rhinoceros. But this did not stop the zebra, which was constantly spinning between the legs of the enemy, ramming and biting him. This is not dangerous for a giraffe, but it is very unpleasant because the flat teeth of the striped aggressor can grind hard bushes. The bite of such teeth is very painful and unpleasant. For a while, the giraffe tried to ignore the zebra, but she did not really let up, because she mistook the kindness of her opponent for weakness. Well then, we need to teach the striped horse a lesson. The giraffe made it clear that it was not worth messing with, and hit the zebra with his head. The horned head of the giraffe played the role of a flail, a mace with a load on a chain. Thanks to the flexible neck and inertia from the movement, a slow but powerful blow just threw the zebra away. The giraffe still felt sorry for the opponent. If he had hit a zebra with a hoof, he could have easily broken its back or cracked its head. However, in other cases, the aggression of zebras gives its result. Just look at how this striped ungulate reacted to the boar approaching too close. It is unlikely that the pig was a source of throat to the zebra, but the ungulate reacted instinctively and very powerfully. One precise blow to the head turned the boar around, threw it away, and literally disabled it. It is a complete knockout. And here the rhinoceros did not know who he was messing with. The prudent zebra did not kick or ram him. The forces were too unequal. But when the rhino got too close, the zebra bit him. On the horn. Of course, the striped ungulate failed to bite off the tip of a potential opponent's weapon. But the rhinoceros was really taken aback and stopped at such impudence. At the same time, the zebra is much smaller than the size of a domestic horse. Didn't really expect such a difference in size, did you? Again, the striped aggressor went into battle against the enemy, not understanding who he was dealing with. The horse dodged painful and dangerous bites in the throat, managed to suppress the zebra's resistance, push it away, and even force it to the ground. And although the striped opponent did not calm down, it is immediately clear which side has the advantage. The leopard grabbed the impala and knocked it to the ground. This is not a kiss. It's just that the cat, instead of grabbing the victim by the throat and squeezing the trachea, blocked her breathing, blocking her nose and mouth. The impala tries to resist, but it is in an awkward position, and a powerful enemy is blocking its extremities. With each passing second, the ungulate has less time and energy. Suddenly, the leopard hears some sounds from the thicket. It's a pack of baboons. Actually, the spotted predator often hunts these primates, but now he is tired after fighting with a massive and strong impala. Therefore, when the cheeky monkeys launched a frontal attack, he chose to hide. Except it's not the end. Baboons are omnivorous primates that will gladly finish off and eat the prey of a predatory panther. The impala does not move and does not provoke aggressive monkeys. They're passionate about chasing the leopard and most likely left the impala alone, as they thought it was a ready-made lunch that they could return to after the final expulsion of the leopard. But it's not like that. As soon as the baboons left, the impala began to breathe much deeper. Was she not just in shock, but pretending to be completely exhausted so as to distract the baboons? Anyway, when no one was around, the impala was finally able to raise its head up. She recovered for a while and was finally able to get up. This dog here didn't know who he was dealing with when he attacked a tethered horse. The situation is very complicated. Next to the horse is an unarmed man who is trying to help the ungulate, but cannot because of the danger of the fangs of a mad dog. The pit bull has a very strong bite and a high pain threshold, which turns it into a terrible fighter. But he didn't know who he was messing with. After all, a horse weighing more than half a ton is not an opponent whose patience is really worth testing. As a result, the pit bull was really able to scare the horse with its attacks, but the hoofed animal made the dog really regret it. The horse could not take a running start, but even without room for maneuver, it turned out to be a tough opponent and literally trampled the pit bull into the mud. A hoof strike simply crushed the dog, and then the hoofed creature threw the enemy away from itself like a tired toy. Most likely, the pit bull escaped serious damage, but did not dare to approach that horse anymore. The jackal thought that a thin-legged bird would be an easy target. This was a big mistake. It's a secretary bird, which fights the most venomous snakes in close combat. To some jackal, this bird can deliver such a blow that the beast will run to another continent just to avoid encountering such an opponent again. Now we'll show you other cases of how birds teach lessons in good manners to animals that mess with them. A family of cranes built a nest in Yellowstone National Park, right in the middle of a pond. The birds thought they were safe there. Looks pretty cute, doesn't it? The parents, along with their chicks, decided to take a stroll along the shore when suddenly a bear appeared. The massive heavyweight predator apparently thought that these thin-legged birds would be an easy snack, and that nothing would prevent it from the feast, even if the adults took flight to protect themselves. But abandoning their offspring was not part of the crane's plan. Do you know what it was? Standing up to the bear. The bear tried to assert dominance, but for the protection of their chicks, cranes are capable of true heroics. The birds completely ignored the threat of the predator's claws and fangs and attacked him head-on. The bear was in shock. He didn't expect such bravery. Cranes' long beaks aren't adapted for hunting, but they can use them sort of like a rapier. A few precise strikes, and the bear would lose an eye. The bulky marauder wants no part in that, and he runs. Even though he's about 25 to 30 times larger and stronger than these beautiful birds. Parental love works wonders. The bear flees from the enraged crane and grabs onto a tree to just calm down a little bit. The huge predator is practically in panic. Leathery wings may look much more menacing than avian ones. However, this flying fox, belonging to the larger megabats, clearly underestimated its feathery opponent. Far from being a fearsome predatory bird, it turned out to be a real fighter. With the advantage of speed, the bird repeatedly attacked the foe again and again. As a result, the bird broke the megabat's hind leg, delivering a lesson the creature would not soon forget. The megabat clearly underestimated the bird, which is noticeably smaller in size and mass, but far braver and possessing true fighting instincts. Interestingly enough, this is not a territorial battle between two predators. Notice the specific shape of the bird's massive beak. It's adapted for crushing grains and nuts, but can also serve as a weapon. The bat is not a predator either. It primarily consumes plant-based food. Perhaps the bird aimed to drive away a competitor from its territory to avoid competition for food. Or maybe the bird simply didn't realize it was dealing with an herbivore. Eagles possess bullet-like speed and impressive reaction times. It seems an ordinary turkey couldn't even come close to the predator's swiftness. However, this turkey was clearly underestimated. Somehow it noticed the eagle's dive at the very last second and not only dodged, but sharply ascended, letting the bird of prey pass underneath. The enemy's talons missed the turkey's throat by a couple of inches. Yet it managed to escape with such elegance, as if it were just another casual Tuesday, not the most dangerous instincts. The turkey didn't lose composure and continued fleeing. It might seem funny how it runs, but just pay attention here. The turkey is heading in the opposite direction to where the eagle's inertia took it. The bird of prey has no chance of catching the prey. This time, it clearly made a mistake in choosing its target. The turkey surely deserves your like, don't you agree? This golden retriever was peacefully swimming towards the shore when it caught the attention of not a tiger or a pack of hungry jackals, but someone more menacing, a swan. Yeah, you heard that right. Contrary to the reputation of being cute and good-natured birds, swans can be real tough cookies. While they are indeed loyal and devoted monogamous partners, they are also extremely territorial creatures that eliminate any neighbors in their chosen water body. The golden retriever is a large dog, but it's in the swan's domain, the water. The swan aggressively attacks the dog, which hasn't really done anything to harm it. Powerful wing strikes and attempts to subdue the dog really pose a threat. The swan could potentially drown the dog, even though it's roughly 7 to 9 times heavier and stronger. Additionally, the dog didn't expect such aggression. It's completely innocent. Fortunately, the shore was close enough, and the dog managed to escape. It seems like it might develop aquaphobia now. In reality, the aggression of swans has a real benefit for the survival of this bird species. Their bravery allows them to defend their territory against predators that typically perceive birds as food. This fox doesn't dare to even attempt an attack on the swan. It cautiously drinks and retreats away from the huge and brave bird. This eagle feels confident. It can't swim, but it perches on the shallows, scouting for food. However, it doesn't know to whom this water body belongs. The swan is against anyone eyeing its chicks with appetite. It initiates an attack on the huge predatory bird, which, with its mere presence, can scare even larger creatures. The fearless swan launches a frontal assault and charges at the eagle. The white bird tries to ram the enemy, lure it into deeper water, drown it, or at least get the predator's wings wet so it can't take off until they dry. The eagle doesn't accept the challenge. It retreats, and the swan celebrates another victory. Domestic cats terrorize urban birds. They often catch pigeons and sparrows, but can also handle a more dangerous and formidable opponent. However, in this case, the cat clearly overestimated its abilities. It engaged with an owl. A significant mistake that was. The owl has an excellent defensive tactic and can resist the predator even on the ground by spreading all of its feathers. The cat is shocked. The opponent suddenly doubled in size in a matter of seconds. It might seem amusing to us, but imagine if a cute, friendly Labrador suddenly transformed into a brown bear and stood on its hind legs. Not so funny anymore, is it? Sharp claws and beak allows owls not only to resist cats, but also to successfully hunt them as prey in various situations. The secretary bird has a distinctive appearance, with feathers resembling trousers down its legs. It has a neat head on a relatively long, straight neck, a relatively short, sharp beak, and a crest of several long feathers on its head, earning it the name due to their resemblance to quills behind the ears of 19th century office workers. While these birds are capable flyers, although normally they prefer strolling through the savannah searching for food. This jackal thought that the slender and amusing-looking bird could make an excellent lunch. However, it clearly misunderstood its opponent. The secretary bird is one of the world's best hunters of the most venomous snakes. Unlike many other birds that attack reptiles from the sky, this bird prefers a more nightly tactic. It confronts the enemy head-on without attempting to hide. If the secretary bird can dispatch a massive cobra over 6 feet long, dealing with the jackal is a breeze. The audacious predator regrets having chosen such a formidable opponent, and the powerful kicks can break ribs and even snap a spine. Although the bird's talons are blunt, turns out to be an advantage, delivering hammer-like blows. Despite having a short beak, it is exceptionally sharp. The secretary bird is a close relative and, in a way, a predecessor of eagles. In short, the jackal was fortunate to survive this encounter. It surely won't be attempting another attack on this bird. It seems these birds have grown tired of the tyranny of snakes. Individually, each of these birds wouldn't stand a chance against a large venomous reptile. However, in this case, they formed some sort of avian gang. Together, they attacked a snake that was just looking for something to prey on. The birds' tactics are indeed reminiscent of gangsters. The feathered fighters surrounded the stronger foe and took turns delivering swift strikes, pecking and hitting with their paws. These birds are not fearsome predators. They lack claws and a powerful beak as weapons. However, they have the determination to deal with the snake that terrorized them. And you know what? The birds succeed. The reptile is utterly shocked, not expecting such a rebellion, and is unsure of what to do. When the snake lunges at the one bird, another strikes it from behind. This cycle repeats over and over. The birds' tactics and coordination are perfect. They cover each other and fight with a desperation that makes one wonder if their feud with this specific snake has been ongoing for quite some time. Perhaps it's a vendetta? Or are we witnessing a new evolutionary leap where seemingly less powerful birds learn to cooperate for protection against more formidable and dangerous predators? What do you think? Let us know your opinion in the comments.